Senator Samson Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity to make a few comments on the report of mediated version of the Senate and the National Assembly. From the onset, Mr. Speaker, I need to say that I'm disappointed by the outcome of the process. It looks like, Mr. Speaker, we did succumb to the whims and wishes of the National Assembly on this discussion. Mr. Speaker, while East counties continue to struggle with challenges of corruption, underdevelopment, poor performance, it is not justifiable to deny them resources. Mr. Speaker, when we propose 400 billion, his colleagues went us bashing us in funerals and baby showers and bridal showers. Mr. Speaker, to preside over where counties have not received adequate resourcing. The reasoning we proposed 400 billion was not out of nowhere, Mr. Speaker. 400 billion was enough for counties. The fact that we are cutting it to 387 billion, Mr. Speaker, is quite unfortunate. Many people would want to say additional of 3 billion or 7 billion because in the last session it was 385 billion. Mr. Speaker, I feel disappointed that the only way we can remove the hit on the development of this country from national government is to resource counties to be able to do their functions as per the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. So this 387 billion, Mr. Speaker, is not sufficient to counties. But I want to appeal, Mr. Speaker, even on this issue of equalization fund of 8 billion, we are yet to release as per Article 204. The money has yet to be released, Mr. Speaker. You have heard we have been push and pull here, Mr. Speaker. Even on the issue of concurrent functions like disaster, Mr. Speaker, I expected the national government to shoulder the responsibility of community health promoters, CHVs, fully, because it's not expensive. Anyway, health is devolved. I expected county national government to shoulder the issue of industrial parks, where 250 million by county and 250 million by national government, because these are concurrent functions. Mr. Speaker, the biggest danger to devolution is clawback of its function, number one. Number two is the unbundling of functions that should follow costs, Mr. Speaker. There are many functions that are still being retained by national government, yet it should be unbundled to the counties, including function follow money, Mr. Speaker. For example, health is supposed, the function of health is fully devolved. The only role the national government comes is, it was on policy, Mr. Speaker. And you remember the MES, medical equipment supplies, in the last session, Mr. Speaker, we were fighting very hard, Mr. Speaker, over the issue of medical equipment supplies. It became one of the biggest rip-off to counties, Mr. Speaker, up to date. So I think, Mr. Speaker, even as we say the issue of road maintenance levy fund, Mr. Speaker, I still insist that that money belongs to county governments. 11 billion Kenyan shillings. And I want to ask members of National Assembly, why are they being greedy? They are getting close to 40 billion, Mr. Speaker, through CDF, which under the Supreme Court, Mr. Speaker, it has been ruled that CDF is unconstitutional, Mr. Speaker. And I want to borrow the words of the AUC nominee, Mr. Speaker. When he read his statement, the party leader of Senator Richard Onyonga, when he said the role of Parliament, both National Assembly and the Senate, should be and must be oversight. It is high time that we scrap totally CDF, Mr. Speaker. There is no need. How can you preside, oversight the money that you are spending yourself? Why don't we take all money and give it to counties? Then all of us oversight. Let them oversight national agencies, we oversight counties. Even this RLMF, 11 billion, they want to add themselves over Kera. Kera and Kura is unconstitutional, Mr. Speaker. And I'm happy people in court are arguing that Kera and Kura are unconstitutional, Mr. Speaker. Because as we talk today, the members of National Assembly have all hostage Kera to do their own bidding, Mr. Speaker. So the issue of CDF, which every county is receiving, every constituency is receiving of 100 million. And the argument, Mr. Speaker, the misnomer I hear on the streets is very simple. You know, CDF is doing more. Oh, we have seen CDF. CDF was started in 2003. It is the high time we consolidate all the funds, do division of revenue to national government and to the counties, then oversight both, Mr. Speaker. And I agree in the principle of AUC candidate Raila Odinga when he says, let members of parliament do the oversight of the funds that they appropriate. The budget making process, and I had a member here saying that the president and I want to do pro bono legal advice on the floor of the House to all Kenyans. President and national executive are not involved in the budget making process. The budget making process is an exclusive domain of this National Assembly and the Senate. It was decided in the petition number 3 of 2013 by the Supreme Court, Mr. Speaker. So we should correct Ms. Norma that the national executive nor the president does not participate in any way in budget making process, Mr. Speaker, and therefore it should be handled. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, counties continue the issue of pending bills. Mr. Speaker, are you aware most of our businessmen in Garissa, in Nandi, in Kisii, have died following up for their pending payments by the counties, Mr. Speaker? As of June 2024, Mr. Speaker, counties owed pending bills of 158 billion. Including Garissa, your businessmen and women are suffering because they cannot be paid by counties. I saw the governor of, who is the chair of finance, the governor of Kakamega, telling us the biggest danger to devolution is control of budget. It is not. What governors are doing is voiding payments. Yes. They take money to pay Haji, but they pay Aaron. That's what they are doing. And the control of budget must be on lookout to ensure the proper approvals of the money. We will not allow governors to run away with corruption. I saw the chair of finance and I was worried. What is he talking about? The biggest problems in functionality of counties are governors themselves, because they do voiding of payments and steal the money. Why do we have, Mr. Speaker, after resolution of this House through pending bills, we did say money should be paid all across the counties, 158 billion as of June 2024. No one has paid. Governors, the other day, there was a misnomer, and I was embarrassed, Mr. Speaker. They were saying they have not received money. When the CS of National Treasury released the report, they had received up to October 158 billion Kenya shillings. They are yet to relieve November, Mr. Speaker. And they are lying to Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, led by the chair of Wajir, Ahmed Abdullahi, where Wajir is dysfunctional. As we talk today, and I look at the CBK accounts, Wajir County as county government has 2.6 billion lying. Kisii has 6.7 billion lying in CBK. Nandi has 2 billion lying in CBK. Yet the chairperson of COG is telling the country there is no money, yet they have their money in CBK accounts of 2.6 billion. Yet people of Wajir cannot arrest drugs, cannot access roads. Even in Nandi, Mr. Speaker, we have 2 billion. Yet the governor is basically lamenting and perambulating and talking in funerals and giving out handouts and buying djembe sticks and buying machetes, Mr. Speaker. As if we are giving them money to prepare for war, Mr. Speaker. It is very unfortunate, and I feel embarrassed, and I want to tell Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, some of us in Nandi no longer believe in functionality of security. Somebody was arrested when we went to occupy Nandi County Assembly on the ad hoc report, where Governor Sang cannot account for more than 10 billion Kenyan shillings worth of projects. Someone senior within Nandi County Executive was arrested with machetes and djembes. The only thing that the police did in Nandi is to give him lavidavis. As we talk today, one young man was attacked by the name de Gitaro in Nandi Hills town. The person who attacked is a governor's goon. He is here to be arrested today. The DCIO and DC Amin and IG Douglas Kanja are doing about it, nothing about it. The goonism is Nandi is the order of the day. Anybody, I saw even in Dr. Ondari's funeral's father, goons have taken over funeral services in Kisii, Mr. Speaker. It is very unfortunate, and I saw Senator Onyonga and Madam Donya, Mr. Speaker. We are not appropriating monies to counties to run goonism. The way, Mr. And I am embarrassed I'm disappointed by Nandi County security team that up to today, Mr. Speaker, you can even check in media. They were goons allegedly sponsored by governor carrying djembe sticks and machetes on camera. The Nandi County security team led by county commander has never arrested anybody. What are you telling us? Why are we appropriating this money? If goons are walking around, Mr. Speaker, you can't ask questions. The moment in Nandi you try and question, I saw a young girl called Vero was being threatened. Another young man called Basi was being threatened. I've told you of a young man called Digitaro. He was attacked by broad daylight in Nandi's town. And it is only 50 meters from Nandi's police station. No one has been arrested. Somebody who did that is known. Mr. Speaker, we must agree as a nation. You saw yesterday in Turkana County, Mr. Speaker, despite that Turkana County has received over 100 billion Kenya shillings. When it rained to Turkana yesterday, Turkana County Referral Hospital was flooded because of poor workmanship. Turkana has received over 100 billion. Yet the governor of Turkana, from the reliable intelligence I have, whenever he goes to funerals, he dishes out 1,000 shillings to the people of Turkana. You saw in Turkana, a Form 4 graduate, Mr. Speaker, it was reported in the news. A Form 4 graduate was dispensing medicine. What are you telling us? What is EACC doing? What is DCI doing? If a Form 4 graduate somewhere in Turkana is dispensing medicine, and we are sitting here as a Senate, as if nothing is happening, then there is a big problem with this country. The system is broken. The way governors, Mr. Speaker, including your governor, where it's only a few meters to the river and there is no water in Garissa town, Mr. Speaker, is receiving money, smiling, and all the way to the bank. They should come back and account it before the floor of the House. I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, when you ask governors to appear before committees, they don't come. I issued summonses to the governor of Kisii, Simbarad. I have issued summonses against governor of Tharaka, Mudhomi Njuki. We have issued summonses to Machakos governor and even governor of Isiolo, because they don't want to come to account, Mr. Speaker. But they are busy taking money from us, but they cannot come back to account, Mr. Speaker. I remember even when the Senate and in the County Assembly of Nandi, Mr. Speaker, when the ad hoc report of a 10 billion projects like Kapsabet, Mother's Baby Newborn Unit, there is no mortuary in Kapsabet town, Mr. Speaker. The one that was there was built by Muzungu. Our people are suffering. You go to Nandils, there is no drugs. Across Kobuja Sub-County Hospital, Kobuja Sub-County Hospital is less than 50 meters from the governor's house. God forbid if he gets sick, he cannot access medical care in Kobuja Sub-County, Kobuja Hospital, which is tall. Kapsengere is tall, Mr. Speaker. Even all the projects are tall that were allocated money. When the members of County Assembly in Nandi tried to pass the ad hoc report, there was a lot of intimidation and blackmail against the MCAs. And I want to thank the MCAs, almost 19 of them, led by the chair of ad hoc committee, Kapsabet ward member of County Assembly, for standing firm and fighting for justice, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, because I can see my time is fast spent, corruption in counties must be fought. As we talk, Mr. Speaker, I want to challenge the nominee of EACC, Mr. Abdi, to walk the talk. We are tired of EACC frying only omena instead of frying mbuta, Mr. Speaker. As we talk today, Mr. Speaker, as we talk today, Nandi County, there was a payroll fraud. The EACC and DCI came to Nandi, took away computers. Up to today, no one has been arrested. Even our Public Service Commission report came out in Nandi and showed, Mr. Speaker, that a number of people hired by governor were earning salary without working. No one has been arrested up to today. One of them was his campaign soloist. Another was a media presenter. Some of them were close relatives, Mr. Speaker. Up to today, EACC and DCI have arrested them. So what are you telling us, Mr. Speaker? The system is broken. It is as simple as that. You saw what happened in Kisii, the same thing with employees fiasco. No one has been held accountable in the issue of employment saga, even in Isiolo. Mr. Speaker, even we want to challenge the new EACC CEO. We are tired of appropriating funds Net your one is held accountable. Up to today, on the issue of payroll fiasco in Nandi, none has been arrested up to today, Mr. Speaker. We must be told. I want to challenge the new CEO nominee, Mr. Abdi, to walk the talk as EACC. Let us stop. You know, they come with abracadabra, come with vehicles, take computers, take copies. 1 month, no one has been arrested. 2 months, no one has been arrested. Yes, and they see each other through the tent, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Today, Senator Onyonga is one of my biggest cheer squad here on the floor of the House, Mr. Speaker, and I'm proud of it. Mr. Speaker, that is very unfortunate that we give money to EACC and DCI from taxpayers to fight corruption, but there is nothing to smile on about. As a reggae song says, when you look outside the window, do you see anything to smile about? Our counties are becoming bastions of inefficiency, moribancy, corruption, Mr. Speaker, as we talk today. Even finally on Earth resource, Mr. Speaker, Nairobi, under CRA, have potential of 67 billion, but they are collecting 12 billion. Where is 50 billion? Nandi has revenue potential of 700 million. They are collecting 200 million. Where is it, Mr. Speaker? And I see governors celebrating, but they are not telling the country in their own source revenue. Today, give value. Governors will talk about equitable shareable revenue being appropriated, but they'll never tell you about their own source revenue. Where border stickers in Chepterit, in Aldai, in Chemase, Mr. Speaker, are paying for border stick. In Mosoriot, in Kaptumo, in Kobucha, in Chepterwa, in Maraba, Mr. Speaker, in Nandils, my women, Mamamboga, even in Kapsabet town, they have a dysfunctional town market where there is no sanitary, including toilets. Those women sit from morning to evening. There is no toilets, Mr. Speaker, to use. But they are paying money to counties. Those border, it's raining in Nandi now. The roads are impassable. Border have been forced to construct shades of grass, Mr. Speaker, to protect themselves from the sun or the rain. Yet that own source revenue, governors will not tell you about. If you ask the COG chair, which is an exclusive Ahmed Abdullahi, they will never tell you about own source revenue. They will tell you about money in treasury. They will never tell you what they are doing under CRA revenue potential, Mr. Speaker. So I want to challenge, Mr. Speaker, that on own source revenue, we must agree that the own source revenue should give value for our people going into the future, Mr. Speaker. We must ensure, and I am happy that as a Senate, we must have a conversation. I want to challenge, just 30 seconds, Mr. Speaker. I want to challenge that we need to work towards it. Mr. Speaker, I oppose this report. I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Veronica Ndwati.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.